Welcome back. A trio of controversial measures aimed at reducing the flow of illegal immigration into Texas are poised to become law. In this fourth special legislative session of 2023, Republicans in the majority pounded through money for additional border wall at a cost to taxpayers of $1.5 billion. Lawmakers also made just stepping into our state without documentation or permission a state crime, and empowered 80,000 Texas peace officers with the authority to arrest, detain, and transport illegal migrants. Democrats and nearly all Latino members of the lower chamber expressed outrage, which was openly ignored by the majority.
Impacting millions of Texans, violating our Constitution, violating the Supremacy Clause of the United States, violating the 14th Amendment, violating the Equal Protection Clause.
Our constituents sent us here to ensure that we secure the southern border, and that's what we're going to do with this bill.
Panel, this so-called solution could easily generate as many problems as it solves, as in racial profiling, as in abusive intimidation and extortion, as in creating a deterrent for immigrant cooperation with law enforcement. I'm going to ask you, Paul, agree or disagree?
This is a law that is targeting people of color, Hispanics specifically, and it's empowering anyone to report their neighbor. As Texans, I grew up saying, oh, Big Brother's a bad thing. We are voting Big Brother into existence with this law. So if a person is raped, beaten, robbed, assaulted, not paid their wages by someone, and they come and they say, hey, you owe me, or that was wrong, there is no provision in this law to protect that person from being reported for being possibly illegal. So what you're going to see is just all kinds of crimes run rampant in the community because people are going to be afraid to approach law enforcement. This is wrong. It's morally, ethically wrong, and I can't believe we got it through. And if it weren't this way, they would have accepted State Rep Ann Johnson's amendments to protect people who are coming because they are victims of human trafficking, victims of rape, assault, or children. And all of those amendments were rejected, and that tells me everything I need to know about this bill.
Marcus Davis, both you and I have spoken out, consistently, loudly against what's going on the border and the lack of security.
Right.
But is this the right path?
So let's start at the top, because that's where this starts, right? This is a direct result of the impotent leadership in the White House and the Congress, Senate. All those guys are responsible for this because they won't pass legislation that cures the immigration issue. But two, the president will not secure the borders. So it starts there. As a result, lack of legislation produces bad legislation, because this is bad legislation. As a person who has been wrongfully arrested in front of his business, as a person who has been wrongfully detained, taken out of his car, handcuffed, put in the back of a police car while traveling from one business to another just simply because I was black, as a person who didn't fit the profile of an investor who was handcuffed in front of his investment property because I didn't look like I owned the property, I don't trust this law in the hands of people who have historically not shown their ability to deal with the capacity that they have, the capacity of authority that they have as law enforcement.
Full disclosure, everybody, half of my family is Hispanic, and I'm proud of them, love them, and I'll defend them publicly. Gary, look, what do you think of this law?
This is, Marcus actually has got it 100% right. This law is the product of frustration by the failures, primarily of President Biden and his hand-picked head of Homeland Security. They don't enforce the border. We have a wide open border, and it's not just Hispanics. They're coming from all over the world, entering the country because the border's open. So they've tried to do something to alleviate it. I agree with the panel. It creates new problems that we don't really want. I do like the border wall. I said, let's finish the border wall. So I think that's one thing they can do. But I think that the law is probably going to be declared unconstitutional at some point by some court.
Okay, we got to leave it there. We can talk more. Holly, I know Holly ready to go.